Yeah,
You ready for it?
ready for you. All right, welcome back to episode 8 of Today's Show. Today we've got a little different approach. We are going to start with quote of the day.
Quote of the day.
And you want to you want to say today's quote?
Yeah, I got you. So our quote of the day, to kind of go based on the topic that we wanted to cover today, is everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So this quote comes from Mike Tyson, correct?
Yep.
Cool.
That's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Everyone knows him. If you don't, you've been living under a rock for I don't know how many years. But a man of extreme work ethic and something to be marveled at for sure.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's a good quote, especially going based on the topic that we want to cover.
You know the origin of the quote, right?
I don't. What is it?
So it's so when he's going to the boxing match with somebody, the reporters and somebody else and whoever he's matching up with, they're always saying like, "Hey man, here's what he's gonna do. He's gonna pull some lateral moves on you, and he's gonna dance around you. He's gonna do this on you. He's gonna do this on you," and that's when he drops the quote. Everyone has a plan.
Yeah.
Until they get punched in the mouth.
Right, and then you start staggering a little bit. You gotta recoil.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta figure out what your next game plan is.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of, the whole fighting thing is with Conor McGregor when he first fought Diaz, and Diaz kind of pulled off a surprising win.
Right.
And Conor just had just so much confidence, thinking he's got it, he's got a plan, he's gonna be cocky about it, put his hands down, let him
right.
take a couple
That
shots.
pissed me off so much, that fight. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Yep.
It's not what your trainer taught you to do.
Exactly. Then he got punched in the mouth.
Didn't have a plan after that.
And you could see the change in the look of the eyes too.
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon as you get punched in the mouth.
Almost immediately, too.
And the momentum just shifted the whole way. Yeah.
That next fight, though, it came back and it was a different fight, for sure.
He definitely wasn't underestimating Diaz the second time.
Right.
So he came prepared for that one. So he definitely rebounded after a setback.
Rebound. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So in case y'all didn't catch it, our topic of the day is going to be rebound. How to rebound after, say, you have just some lull in your life. Maybe for me, I experienced this just recently where, I got sick, I got a head cold, I got bogged down for, about 4 to 5 days. And it just mentally being in the state where you're just in your room, I don't know, binge watching TV. That's what I do when I get sick. Binge watch TV. I'm lying in bed because I want to rest up. I want to get as healthy as possible as soon as possible. You know, so I'm not trying to push it too much. But my mental shift, I feel like, gets drugged back, into this state that isn't necessarily good. It's, you start overthinking things. You get in your own head and you almost can't get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And then whenever you're ready to go back into doing all the things that you were doing, I feel like it's almost like starting over again in a sense. So all these different things that I'm thinking about and mentally even just getting myself prepared to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
To start that physical. This time around I had a little bit tougher time with that, which, I think is okay.
Right.
It just shows I'm human.
Yeah.
I go through certain things, and sometimes I get in my head. Sometimes they're easier to get out of it than they are others.
Yeah.
However, I think as long as the biggest thing that I notice is as long as you move forward and you do something, like that day that you're ready, like, okay, I'm not sick anymore. I don't have to rest.
Yeah.
Like, let's go to the gym, even if it's for 30 minutes. Or say you want to do a workout at the house. 20, 30 minutes. That's better than just still sitting there.
Yeah.
You're still getting up, you're moving, and you're starting this mental shift again. And for me, it was getting up when I didn't want to get up.
So what goes through your mind when you're going through that? Because that when you're sitting alone and you're standing alone and you feel sick, your body's not ready, what goes through your mind?
For me, lots of frustration because I'm like, man, I rarely get sick. This sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be this person right now. And it always seems like it's never convenient time to get sick either.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and there's just so much that goes on with it.
Does
What's up?
does FOMO kick in?
FOMO, yeah, a little bit. For me, this time around, luckily, I wasn't so worried about that. I was actually more in the sense of I don't need to go hang out. Like I want to get up and do these things for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to the gym. I want to get up and or feel like I can get up and just sit at my computer or sit with a script and start working on it and feel like I'm okay to go to a class or go to an audition.
Yeah.
That's what was frustrating me the most this time. Not the fact that I was missing out on all these opportunities to I don't know go to Six Flags or go out and hang out with people on a Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
I wasn't so worried about that. And I think that kind of ties into a larger mental shift that I've had this year.
Being more career driven, being
Right,
more
absolutely.
career focused,
Right.
and striving for things that you want to achieve.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that already makes it such a difference. So like this time whenever I hit that low, I was like, oh no, is this like some other times that I've had? But it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I struggled a little bit to bounce back.
Yeah.
At this point now, I think I'm even more driven than I was. I'm more ready.
Yeah. Well, which is a good thing, because sometimes when you feel so, when you feel so fired up, you start making all this progress.
Mm-hmm.
Then you came to a sudden stop, and that's when you have to kind of start over again.
Right.
And you're like, holy crap, I'm starting at day one again.
Right.
And that's
And sometimes I feel like depending on what it is if you come into it almost like 200% going balls out,
Yep.
you get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that either. But yeah, I don't know. It's the recovery is the biggest thing, and I think the biggest thing that's going to lead to that recovery is just allowing yourself to feel that for a moment.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's fine. Feel that, get that out of your way, get that out of your mind.
Yeah.
And come back.
Well, that's a mental game then.
Yes.
Because at the same time, you're frustrated.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing is just going from that frustration to acceptance to feeling that.
Yeah.
Figuring out, how to get past that. But yeah.
It's not like a linear thing. I don't think, because I've gone through the same exact thing. I feel like it's a cycle. When, you feel frustrated, but then you feel like, okay, I just gotta accept it. And then about a couple minutes later, you're like, oh, I want to do something right now.
Right.
Then
you get like that all of a sudden energy kick. You're like, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't push this or anything.
It's a cycle more so than like a linear thing, right?
Right.
So when you're in that cycle, it's tough. At least for me, it's tough to just like.
It is tough.
Be okay with it.
And that's something that I've slowly started to figure out is like this cyclical thing. I feel like happens more for people whenever they don't allow themselves to just sit with that for a second and feel that.
Mm-hmm.
When they attempt to push it down or say no, like I'm sick, this is gonna be like sometimes there's a little tweak in there that comes back time and time again.
Yeah.
Maybe the next time you're not going to be sick, but you're still going to be in a mental lull.
Yeah, because you're picking up a habit of negative thinking.
Right.
And when you pick that up, it kind of carries over even after you're done being sick. You're like, oh man, everything just kind of like pessimistic at that point.
Sure, yeah.
There was a time when you're actually, like when you're sick and then you bounce back, how do you come to that full stop and then start climbing again? How do you come to that full stop? Is there an affirmation that you say? Is there a some kind of anchoring that you do, whether you're like, all right, Jason, stop. You got to stop thinking and just focus on X. Focus on Y.
Yeah, I mean, I love affirmations. I don't use them as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that I have an affirmation that I give myself in these moments.
Mm-hmm.
However, I just make this shift, and we've talked about this before. You've talked about this. Who is her name? Mel Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
She has the 5-second rule.
5 second rule.
So I do something kind of similar to that, in a sense where if there's something that I don't want to do, or say I'm just laying there and I'm just essentially being a lazy asshole, right?
Yeah.
And I know that I'm better now, but I'm still kind of, whatever. I still feel like I'm able to do this, even though, like, no, screw off. So what I do is I tell myself, okay, just get up.
Yep.
Just get up and do it. Just get up, go to your computer, go do something. Read a book, go to the gym, go outside, just do something.
Be in emotion
Yes.
instead of being in your head.
Yes.
I like that. And that doesn't allow you to be in your head and start thinking. You're actually in the moment. You're in action doing something and you're moving towards it.
Yeah.
The hardest part is...
And is that I feel like a very hard part. Like, that's not easy for a lot of people, is just to say,
Jumpstart.
no, okay, no, stop it. We're not going to be here. We're going to get up and we're going to go do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that's what people who deal with some kind of disability, or not even disability, some kind of depression or anything like that, a lot of the times is they just want to not do anything.
No, because it's easy.
Yeah, and that actually spirals it down. And when you're in your head and you start feeling helpless,
right,
at some point, and when you're feeling helpless, that's when things kind of hit the fan.
And like when you allow yourself to be comfortable in that helplessness, I feel like the more you allow yourself to be comfortable in a situation, the easier it is to just stay comfortable.
Yep.
And if you're in the situation of, say, you have depression, and a certain thing, it is a chemical imbalance for certain people, so you do need medicinal support.
Right.
I believe in that. But a lot of times it's just getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Doing something.
Yeah.
I
think that's huge, because
Yeah.
it gives you an action. Have you ever felt like you haven't done anything in a while, and you start feeling guilty, and that's that kickstart? It's like, I haven't done shit with my life.
Right. I don't think I'd be human if I said I didn't experience that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. And that pops up many times out of the year,
All the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
If we allow ourselves to get bogged down by these things, like you said, it's a spiral.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that, because the deeper you go down that spiral, the harder it is to come back out.
I like that. It's just a matter of doing it. It's a matter of jumpstart. There's this part, I think Tim Tebow recently, he started playing baseball.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who does he play for?
Some minor league team.
I was gonna say it's minor league, right?
Minor league team. So there was one time in the I think it might have been Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. He interviewed him. He was like, the chance of you actually making it to major league is very slim, right? You know that, right? It's a high failure rate,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. And Tim Tebow just snapped out of it, and he was like, "Listen, since when is it about probability?
Right.
It's all about doing it. It's all about chasing after your dreams. Who gives a
if he
crap?
wants to play baseball, let him fucking play baseball, man. Like,
Yeah,
that's what he wants, you know?
yeah. And he was like, since when is it about failing and making it?
Yeah.
Since when is it about the probability?
I feel like a lot of people weigh it in that aspect. You failed it or you made it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good way to go about looking at it. And nothing is black and white.
Yeah. It's the thing is, it's always discouraging whenever you give somebody a probability, right?
Of
Because
course it is.
even if you give them a probability of like, listen, man, you have a 60% chance of winning, they're gonna focus on a 40% chance of failing.
Or they get so caught up in the fact that they have a 60% chance of winning
Mm-hmm.
that they actually lose.
Yeah. If a doctor was to diagnose you, hey man, listen, you got a 60% chance of beating this disease or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's mental. It's like, oh shoot, and that becomes a hard mental game at that point. It's
Right.
like, holy crap, I've got 40% chance of dying, 60% chance of living.
That's a whole other like echelon of thing I can't even imagine.
Right.
Just where you face your mortality in that sense.
Yeah.
That's super
That's deep.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. But it goes into the attachment of like, living and whatnot. And if we're
Sure.
talking about attachment, we're talking about, well, if you've been on fire, you've been striving and you've been getting closer and closer to your goal, you've been doing things that you've been planning on doing, then you get a
Hit with
step back.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why could it be that the reason that you're feeling guilty is because you're so attached on the results that you've been getting,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fact that you have to start over again, it just means you just have to detach yourself, and it's
Well, and maybe that trajectory also helps. If you're in this moment, you're on fire and you're kicking ass,
yeah.
and then you do get hit with a setback. Maybe you're more equipped to rebound faster.
Emotionally, what do you do to snap out of it? Like, who is there? A person you talk to? Is there
Yeah. I was
anyone?
actually going to ask you about that. How you address certain things like that too. But yeah, talking it out is huge. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always certain people that I'll go to talk about different things.
Yeah.
But I do believe in just telling people how you're feeling. Just even as long as it's just an ear, they don't have to say anything. Just sometimes being heard is helpful, or sometimes just being validated.
Yeah.
Knowing that or hearing them say something that you already know,
Yep.
but you almost just need to hear it again.
Yeah.
And or maybe they say something profound that you weren't thinking about,
Yeah.
and it changes. But just to be validated and know that you're not alone and that every single person goes through struggles. Maybe it's not the exact same, but in some level, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
very similar.
a reminder of something, right? A reminder
Right.
that it's not all about striving for this thing.
Yeah.
It's okay to be set back.
Right. Or
Um,
even the fact that, I'm sitting here talking about, oh, yeah, I got bogged down by having a cold for 4 or 5 days. That's nothing compared to what other people were being hit by.
right.
And I just want that to be like aware to everybody that's listening, everything like that I realize that that's not even on the same level. But that's why I wanted to talk about this, because certain people who are going through heavier things, you're still not alone.
Yeah. Everyone's fighting a battle
Yeah,
in one way or another.
absolutely.
Whether it's
So just to kind of wrap up, I want to do kind of a takeaway point, an overall takeaway point for this episode. Um, when you're coming back or you're on the rebound, I'm not talking about dating. I'm just talking about from being down in a lull. Feel what you need to feel, and know that there's going to be people around you that love you and support you and are there to help you through it. Nobody's truly alone.
no. Everyone's
So,
fighting their own battle.
yep,
So be kind to people you meet. You don't know what kind of
exactly.
battle they're fighting.
Exactly. That's a really good point. We'll leave you guys with that. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week. Hey guys, gals, thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you gained some value from our podcast. Please click subscribe for future episodes on how to own your day. Love y'all.
All right.
All right. Sit. Motherfucker.